We find ourselves in troubling times right now, full of emotions such as sadness and anger and fear. The question of what do we do weighs heavy upon us. As many of us have been, I've been struggling over this question the past few weeks. What is the right Christian response? How do we faithfully live out the righteous ways of God in the midst of the injustices that we are seeing? Opposing thoughts and opinions battle it out over social media with no conclusions being drawn. Religion and politics and personal beliefs are drawing hard lines that are causing further divisions instead of unity. This only adds to the pain. As Christians, we are called to be the light of the world. We are to let our light shine before men that they may see our good deeds and praise our Father in heaven. Right after Jesus commissions us for this, he makes one thing very clear. He says, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." So we ask, what do the law and the prophets have to say? The first verse that comes to mind is one that should be familiar for us as it is deeply connected to times like these. This verse is so closely tied to the vision of Martin Luther King Jr. that a monument has it as a quote attributed to him. "Let justice roll like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream." This verse comes in the midst of God criticizing the Israelites for their hypocrisy. They claim to be God's people, but they fail to live a way that honors God. God says to them, I despise your religious feasts. I cannot stand your assemblies. So let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. This is a call to action. God is saying, away with your empty words and hollow praise. I hate that you come to me pretending you are righteous when you are really living in opposition to my ways. Let your actions be just and righteous. Live in a way that honors me. The prophet Micah has a similar cry. God has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Belief with words is not enough. God requires a way of living, not just a way of speaking. To truly be in alignment with the righteous ways of God, we must live lives where our actions are just and full of mercy. The prophet Jeremiah gives us a little more detail of what this active life of faith looks like. This is what the Lord says: do what is just and right. Rescue from the hand of his oppressor the one who has been robbed. Do no wrong or violence to the foreigner, the fatherless, or the widow, and do not shed innocent blood in this place. As we turn to Scripture to discern what our response should be, the charge Jeremiah gives the king of Judah echoes to us today. Not contributing to oppression is not enough. We are called to go further. We are called to do more. We are called to rescue the oppressed from oppression. We are called to actively live against oppression. We are called to help save and to heal. The manifestation of this call is seen in Jesus' life. Jesus' anger and sadness about the brokenness and wrongdoing of the world led him to action. When merchants had turned the temple of God into a marketplace that took advantage of the poor who were trying to live faithfully to the law, Jesus acted. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple area and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and he would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. Jesus responded to his anger by disrupting the oppression that he was witnessing. When the Pharisees wanted to accuse Jesus of breaking the law, Jesus acted. Another time he went into the synagogue and a man with a shriveled hand was there. Some of them were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus, so they watched him closely to see if he would heal on the Sabbath. Jesus said to the man with the shriveled hand, "Stand up in front of everyone." Then Jesus asked them, "Which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill?" But they remained silent. He looked around at them in anger, and, deeply distressed by their stubborn hearts, said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." He stretched it out, and his hand was completely restored. Jesus responded to his anger and distress with an act of healing. When the death of a close friend caused Jesus and those close to him to mourn, Jesus acted. When Jesus saw Mary weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see, Lord," they said. And Jesus wept. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days." Jesus called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" And the dead man came out. Jesus responded to his sadness and troubled spirit and the sadness of others by resurrecting Lazarus. Jesus lived out the words of Jeremiah. Jesus did not just speak out against oppression and injustice. Jesus allowed his heart to break for the oppressed, and then he responded in a way that brought change and healing through action. Are you actively living against oppression and injustice, or are you simply trying to stay away from it?